over the local government areas, monitoring what is happening, and they will be calling in to tell us what is really happening in the areas they are covering. Once again, I welcome you to the program.
Stella, if you so already you have somebody on the line.
And where their sources are. But we will dig into it.
Hello, sir.
Oh, very well.
Hello, sir.
So, what do you intend to do different from what is content government doing? For me, to give government a human face is something that we need to do urgently so that we restore confidence in governance as far as Kaduna State is concerned. Secondly, the issue of security is something that you need not to, ask me. People are living in fears, living with their two eyes open, and we will address that squarely given the opportunity.
I think that is the PDP gubernatorial candidate from his voting point, Alaji Isa Muhammad Ashiru, with our reporter Yahya Muhammad. And let me just start with Malay Brian. You heard what the PDP gubernatorial candidate Alhaji Isa Ashiru talked about. He talked about issue of security. He talked about issue of giving government a human face and such of other things. What do you think maybe any incoming governor will really have to face, or rather have to tackle?
Well, I think very well everybody know in this country some of those fundamental challenges that confront the machinery of governance. It is always a different ball game when you are outside the field, and it's a different ball game when you enter the field. That has to do with campaigning for election, and when you actually enter the office and see what is on the table and see what you'll be able to do for the people. Well, the demand of the people are not actually something buoyant. They're the basic necessities of life. The first fundamental pillar, which every other policy led, is the security of lives and property. This has been the challenges. When you be able to provide this, then other things can fall in. Issue of building infrastructure for the people, giving better care health services, sustainable policies of education, and creating employment for the people, and again reorienting the youth, mass orientation of the youth to leave the path of crime and to the path of moral rectitude. So there are various challenges confront the machineries of governance. As I always said, you have to compact this into three fundamental: your economic blueprint, then education and health, maybe issue of security of lives and property. But they are not in isolation. I continue to say this. It is a stakeholders issue. It's something that involves every citizen of the state, not about the person who will become the governor, who might likely become the governor of the state alone. And I continue to tell the people who are looking for office, don't promise what you cannot achieve.
Yes.
I continue to. These are some of the things that hype the expectation of the people, that when you enter office, because of the campaign, the heated campaign, that yes, you are going to move River Niger from Niger and move it to Sokoto. Then when you now enter office, people will say, wow, we are still waiting for you to do the miracle you said. What happened? So be realistic in your campaign, be realistic and be optimistic, and ensure that you know what is at stake. Many people doesn't know what is at stake.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tajudeen Abdulbari. Looking at what he just said and the expectations of the people, do you think Nigerians, and particularly electorate here in Kaduna State, are wise enough to really demand for good governance from those at the helm of affairs, when they, particularly those that have been given the mandate by the people themselves?
I think, you see, the first thing to do is that when you want to elect a leader, you elect a leader that you think, and we get a government in power and the person come on top. We cannot be asking that person that these are some of the promises we made, And do not forget that it is not going to be a thing that a man comes to power today and in the next 1 month he can roll out drums and be doing all those promises that are made. And that is why in governance it is a continuity. So if Mr. A does this, Mr. B can also follow where the man stops.
Okay, Mr. Tajuddin, I'll throw this to you. We are seeing the pattern of voting is a bit different from what we saw during the presidential elections. We saw a lot of massive turnout of voters. But now that this election is the one that is closest to the people, we are not seeing those numbers. What could you think?
I think that apathy has been noted. Since morning, I've gone from Alimi Road to Agorimi to Yakowa Road to NNPC as far as Kujama, and then turn back again and pass through Banawa and the rest of them. Yes, your observation is actually correct. People were not many as it was in the past, but there is no comparison. The reason is this: the presidential election was one of the biggest. It was a national election. The election we're having today is a state election. So you cannot actually expect that everybody that come out to vote during the presidential election are also coming out to vote today for a governor.
But it's surprising.
I
this
think
is electing your representatives who you will be dealing with directly.
You see,
and you would have expected to see,
I think we are even getting to somewhere. In the past, you don't even see people coming to vote. But with the last presidential election, that you see people, you see the politics was overheated. The politics goes different dimensions. Those who are not supposed to even talk about politics came in and started talking about politics, who are supposed to manage certain things different from political activities. So they make people at that time, during the time of presidents, to make the thing to look as if this person did not get it, there will be no this. If this person gets it, there will be no this. So everybody was ready, and like we were waiting for a war. In the case, so everybody now saw that the presidential election was done, won, lost, and is gone, and there was no any crisis that followed. So they think this time too we will not even have any.
Well,
crisis.
I think if I may chip in,
I think we will come back to you in a short while. Listener, in case you are just tuning in, this is the Mandate coming to you live from the services of Ksmc Radio here in Kaduna. And in case you can also monitor us on our Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube handle. And you can also pass comments and observations on that handle so that we can read it out for you. And I think at this juncture, I will listen to this before we proceed.
Step 1. Upon arrival at the polling unit, join the queue and present yourself to the INEC official APO3 at the polling unit. Step 2. The official APO1 will request for your PVC to confirm that your card is genuine using the Smart Card Reader SCR. Step 3. You will then meet the next official APO2 who will request for your PVC to confirm that your name and details are in the voters register. Step 4. The presiding officer, PO, will then stamp, sign and endorse the date at the back of the ballot paper. Step 5. You will stain your appropriate finger for the election with the ink provided. Then use your stained finger to mark the space or box provided on the ballot paper for your preferred candidate or party. Step 6. Then leave the voting cubicle and drop the ballot paper in the ballot box in full view of people at the polling unit. Step 7. You will then leave the polling unit or wait, if you so choose, in an orderly and peaceful manner to watch the process up to declaration of result. Remember, the result of each polling unit shall be pasted at the unit for everyone to see. Venues of elections. Polling unit where you registered and assigned by INEC. Accreditation and voting. Continuous accreditation and voting method will be employed during the elections. Smart card readers will be used to verify PVC and authenticate fingerprints of prospective voters. Time of voting, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Voters on the queue at 2 p.m. will be allowed to vote. Who is eligible to vote? Only persons with permanent voter cards, PVCs, and whose details are in the register of voters will be allowed to vote.
That's the procedure of voting. And before we had that report, if you want to be part of this, follow this program on YouTube, you go to Ksmc The Mandate. On Facebook, The Mandate, Ksmc Kaduna. And on Twitter, at Ksmc World News. If you want to be part of the program, these are the accounts to check and follow the program.
Now,
so let's hear.
Before we have somebody on the line, and which I think after that we'll still come back to this report so that we really look at it. Hello, Eliasu. Good afternoon. So you are on.
I'm calling from the INEC headquarters here in Kaduna. Mahmoud, as you know, it's now too early to begin to see things happening again here at the INEC headquarters. But so far, so good. For now, things are moving fine from the reports they are receiving here from the situation room. We are receiving from the situation room. Things are moving fine, except probably one or two issues here and there. And I've tried my best to see that if I can get any of the officials around so that you will talk more on whatever they have on ground for now. Unfortunately, none of them is around except the commissioner who said it's not yet time for him to talk. And what actually happened is this. Due to some of the issues which is encountered during the presidential election, the INEC commissioner decided to even post out some of the management staff and post them to different angles of the state to supervise and ensure that things are moving, they are all around. Probably that is why none of them is around at the headquarters right now.
Eliasu, from the reports coming into the INEC headquarters, what in particular, has there been any problem or hitch reported to the commission?
So far we have not heard of any, but you know, no election that is conducted 100% perfect. The issue of card reader failure, the issue of low turnout, the issue of just minor things like this. But like the issue of low turnout is not, no one can call it minor. So I think this is one area where we need to do more, especially those of us in the media, to call on people to come out and exercise their civic responsibility. But this is not the main issue, that most areas people turn out not as they did during the presidential election.
Well, thank you very much, Ilya. In case you have any updates, please, you can get back to us. Thank you.
Hello? Hello, we have Anas Mohammed from Ikara. Hello, Anas.
Hello, how are you? Good evening.
Okay, so what's happening in Ikara?
So far so good here. Almost every place where I visit, there are a lot of people. Some polling units, there are a lot of adult staff just sitting without doing anything. They are waiting for the people to come and stand their vote, but there are no people that have come.
Oh, you mean there's low turnout of people? Hello?
Okay, people. Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes, people, they are not coming to cast their vote. Even right from this in the morning, around 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11, there's no people that used to come to the queue. Even the few people that have done the queue, they are now.
Okay, so is there any other thing peculiar happening there?
Yes, there are an issue of the card reader in the local government area in where that is not working since in the morning. The issue is that maybe the card reader is not being the one supposed to be given to that, and they already reported the issue to the INEC official, and they already come of the situation. Now, it is just a 10 minutes before the election has started in award. I mean.
Okay, so voting has started there. Oh.
just 10 minutes ago.
Okay, thank you very much, Anas. If there's any other thing, you let us know.
Okay, thank you. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I think we have Professor Kabiru Mato on the line. Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, can you please tell us where you are now at the moment?
Well, I'm just leaving my polling station in Badarawa, and voting is going on as expected. The only problem is that there seems to be a lot of apathy on the part of the voters. I think what people believe is that INEC has considerably done better than they did during the presidential election by ensuring that election materials are deployed to polling units as early as 8 o'clock. So voting actually commenced at window in most of the polling stations. This resulted in many people who were apprehensive in the last 2 weeks, casting their votes early up between 9, 10, and 11. So when you move around the polling stations now, you find that they are scanty. But I think that there are many more people who haven't voted and are still in the comfort of their homes. The advice is that they should please move out and vote, because what probably will be scaring them is the long queues that characterize elections. Today it's better. There are no queues. If the vote takes 10 minutes for every eligible voter to be accredited and for him or her to exercise his or fundamental human franchise as a citizen of this country. So I think it is important to call on virtually everyone around who hasn't voted yet to move to polling stations, where he or she is registered, so that they can exercise their fundamental human rights as citizens by selecting leaders of their choice. It's very important, it's very crucial. It happens only once in 4 years. If you miss it now, you may not have the right to complain. If anything goes wrong with the decision-making process. So it's a fundamental objective, it's a religious duty for people to ensure that they elect people of their choice, they elect leaders of their choice. So I think it's necessary to call on everybody to move out. Go cast vote. There is still time. We still have over an hour, 20 minutes for people to arrive at polling stations so that they are accredited and they cast their votes. So remember, that anybody who is not at his or her polling stations by 2 o'clock will miss this chance, and like I said, he or she will have to wait for another 4 years to be able to
thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much. I think I would like to go to Madam Ibrahim, the issue of this voter apathy, and at the same time you see that when you look at what happened in during the presidential election and now, things have changed and there is remarkable improvement on the part of INEC.
Well, I think issue of that voter party is a serious issue. Before I came here, I was in DITV for 2 hours. All the reports we got is almost the same thing. But I said it even before the election. It is expected because there are so many pre-election factors that actually lead to this voter party. First is the configuration of a campaign in election in this country. Remember, presidential election and the bicameral house election come before the state governors election. So because of this, the political parties, the entire system is configured to only be happening on the presidential election before the voting day of the presidential election. Only few know even about that the governorship election come immediately after presidential election. It is all about presidential election, the candidate of APC, the candidate of PDP. That is the campaign that has gone to the grassroots. So many people don't even know the importance that the governance machinery that is more closer to you, it's even the governor and the State House of Assembly. It is curious that even many people I ask doesn't know that today we have 38 governorship candidates contesting the election in Kaduna State, that we have 34 constituencies, that 390 something candidates are contesting for it. Even the enlightened people, the people who are able, they don't even know this. What does that tell you? That means something is still just right in the way we do campaign in the country. And again, if you watch what happened in the presidential election on the issue of the other parties, you know, if as far as 7:30, 8:30, 9 in the morning, there was large turnout of voters. But because of that challenge of distribution of the necessary logistics to the voting area on time, where voting actually commenced 1 o'clock, 1:30 in some places, that many people will look at it to let me sit down at my home and watch. If these people come out on time, they will start making calls. As the electoral officers come out, before they start coming out, that also contributes to the voters apathy. But the bottom line is that the fact is that average Nigerian doesn't know between the federal and the state now, which one is more important to him than the other.
Thank you very much. Alaji Ajibadi, if you look at what happened.
Please, let's just take this call. Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Okay, Joy, what do you have for us?
Right now, I'm in southern part of the Kaduna, of which election is still ongoing.
Please be specific. Where are you? Hello?
Okay, I'm in television at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. What do you have?
Right now, here in television, I've gone around the polling unit and everything was still doing smoothly. There is no hitches here in television.
So what else do you have? What about turnout?
The turnout is quite encouraging. It's impressive, quite sure, because due to the conduct of the election, the machine is not having problem. So the line is moving. So as soon as the electorate came, they will just cast their vote and leave.
Okay, thank you, Joel. If there's
Joel, before you hang up, what peculiar things have you noticed there? You know, the sun is scorchy and.
No, we have lost him.
Oh,
sorry,
Yeah.
I lost him.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I was about to ask Alaji Tajuddin on this vote apathy. What do you ascribe this? Don't you think is it the problem of the INEC or the political parties not doing enough to educate and sensitize the people on the importance of the elections, not only that of presidents, but even the governorship and the state house of assembly elections?
You see, I want to believe one thing. We are making a comparison of the presidency and the governorship election. They are very, very different. Different in the sense you are talking about a nation as a whole. That's the presidency. And this time you're talking about a governor, which is only in its state. And I want to say today that as early as 8:30, people have started voting at Adimi Road. 8:39, I casted my vote there. And from there, I moved as far as Kujama. So, and when we came back, before I come down here, I was in Kao. So, you see, when we are talking about voting apathy, I think it's too early to talk about voting apathy because we are here inside this hall. And we are talking about, I've just heard from one of your field man now saying that the turnout in that area is impressive. So, from other ends too, you can still find out that some people, like my colleague rightly pointed out, are waiting because of what we, saw in the last election, the presidential election, where electoral material did not come on time, where people did not actually, know where to go and cast their votes. But this time, they know where to go. And they have been there since about 8:39. And you find out that this thing is going on well. But if we are talking about apathy now, we are just trying to actually jump the gun, because there are many areas now where people have just started trooping out to go and cast their votes, and people are going. I think we should just give ourselves some time to hear from our field officers what is the situation on the ground in certain areas. Okay, because you cannot come to a conclusion of apathy now.
Okay, so much talking. Later maybe we'll get to hear
people are now,
been improvement in
some people who want to go to the mosque at 1 and they wait after that before they go. Some people, they say it's Saturday, they want to go to somewhere, come back to their, and do not forget also that we are in the elite setting here. We were in town. People who are voting are actually there in the local area. Yeah, people have gone back home to go and cast their votes.
Okay.
Yes.
So listeners, still, if you want to be part of the program, you join us on YouTube, Ksmc The Mandate. YouTube, Ksmc The Mandate. And on Facebook, the account is The Mandate Ksmc Kaduna. And on Twitter, at Ksmc World News.
Yeah.
Drop your comments and your observations about what is happening as people go to vote. So we take this report, and after that the program continues.
State has since 1999 been in the third position after Lagos and Kano states in the total number of eligible voters registered for elections. The recent voter registration update conducted by the Commission for the 2019 general elections shows that Kaduna State still maintained the third position with 3,932,492 registered eligible voters. The Commission's record also shows that the balance of the unclaimed voters' card was about 560,000, out of which over 200,000 were later claimed by the rightful registered voters. To this end, a total of 330,000 voter cards have not been claimed, with almost about 140,000 of the cards believed to be owned by mostly strangers, members of communities suspected to have relocated, students, or core members who have registered while studying or serving in the state and left after graduation. Nevertheless, the Independent National Electoral Commission extended the period for registered voters to collect their unclaimed permanent voter cards to enable them participate in the exercise. In the case of technical hitch or rejection of voter by the smart card reader, or a mix-up in the register regarding one's information, among other unforeseen occurrences that may hinder one from voting during the election, the Commission has also devised means of addressing such issues. On the do's and don'ts during elections, especially vote buying, campaign around the polling unit, among other unruly acts which are all prohibited, the rules of the game must be respected. Anybody caught breaching any of the regulations will not be spared. The Independent National Electoral Commission in Kaduna has completed all arrangements towards smooth conduct of the forthcoming elections in Kaduna State.
Yeah, thank you very much with that report. And let me go back to Malang Ibrahim Mohammed. Looking at the fact that Kaduna is ranking third in terms of number of highest registered voters, and looking at the fact that I think we have somebody on the line, so please let's take this call before we... Hello, Jacob Isaac.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I've gone round. I have been going around some of the polling units, and right now at Ngwambo polling unit,
Yeah.
it's 32.
Yes.
And the turnout there is very poor, unlike the way we witnessed the massive turnout of people in the presidential election.
Jacob, don't you think people are, because maybe the election started early and people are coming and voting simultaneously, going, is what is bringing about the impression that there is low turnout?
Well, I don't really think so, because I had to make some questions, and what I gathered is people failed to turn out this time around, even though INEC came out on time to correct their past failure. But this time around, the INEC officials, the ad hoc staff, are even sitting down and waiting for the voters to come and cast their vote. Right now, people are just can't.
Do you think that going by what is happening now, do you think that people will really come out to come and vote before the time given by INEC?
Well, I think if only we can also use this opportunity, those who are at home right now listening to a program Mandate, we can use this opportunity to still encourage them. And in case there are people who are not aware that such is happening, or the governorship and House of Assembly election is going on, if we can enlighten them more and encourage them to go out and vote, it will be another advantage to the people.
Well, thank you very much, Jacob. In case you get something new, please keep us posted.
Okay. So that's Jacob calling from Ngwamboro, and the report is low turnout. So we talk about the level of preparation for now for by INEC for this election. It's something that a lot of people have been commending early turnout of election. I mean, electoral officers to the polling units. What can you say about this development that we didn't see during the presidential election?
I think you see, it is very easy because when you talk of presidential election, the distribution of the logistics for the election is centralized in INEC office in the headquarters. Then they're moving out to the state central bank, maybe 48 hours to the election. Then that process of moving out from the state office to there might be hitches on the road. But what we have here is that material are distributed from the state right just down to the local government, which creates relative ease for them to move this election to the various area. And INEC might have take stock, evaluate and appraise the shortfall of the presidential election, and they quickly came to actually amend those things. That is why you see many of the large chunk of the polling unit actually came out on time. So I still want us to take a second look at the issue of the voters turnout, because I continue to tell people it is not about Kaduna. Even when you look at the presidential election, 84 million registered voters, 72 point something million PVC collected, and less than 35 million actually voted in that election. It calls for a concern. The 36 point something percent nationwide turnout to vote, a concern. It calls for more stakeholders enlightenment, a continuous enlightenment on the importance of casting your vote, what it means to cast your vote. I continue to tell people, if you don't participate, you have no right to complain. Yeah, you don't participate in the election, you have your PVC, you refuse to vote, so you have no right to complain of bad governance tomorrow. You have no right to complain that the governor did not provide infrastructure. You have no right because you didn't participate, you didn't perform your own role, the social contract you enter with the government, you didn't perform your own civic responsibility. So we really need to have to take a look at how voters' education is being conducted. But on the role of INEC, we are in Kaduna, we are assessing the Kaduna state. I have gone around the Sabongeri, Tiduada, Banawa, and a lot of area. I think INEC is being proactive this time around. Then on the issue of card reader, INEC said yesterday in Kaduna they deploy 3,008 card readers in entire Kaduna state, and they have been able to provide a technical backup in case if a card reader fail. Immediately call a certain technical officer, then it will be fixed. And again, we should also re-emphasize that no card reader accreditation, no election in those areas, because that is why we have large chunk of invalid vote that was invalidated during the presidential election.
Thank you very much. We will come to that issue of invalid votes. Let's now take this report on peace.
Societal and political stability is critical to progress in development, since it affects all aspects of economic and social development in a country. Peace and stability are prerequisite for realization of human rights, and not only imperative for development, but also reinforced by the latter. Peace and stability have direct effects on the creation of sound, competitive, and equitable economic development, which ultimately has positive impact on the whole society. People in conflict-affected areas are deprived of the rights to live in dignity and their opportunities to develop. They are most likely to be unable to attend schools and denied access to basic health services and other public goods. Elections are an important mechanism in democratic and peace process. Their purpose is to provide citizens with an opportunity to choose freely their political leaders and allocate powers peacefully. Less visible and more complex than armed conflicts, political and electoral violence remain a threat to human peace and security. Over the years, many lives were lost and property destroyed either during, before, or after elections. This development invariably affects the socio-economic development of the area in question. election process, when adequately observed and the needful is done, the electorate should ensuring their franchise is exercised accordingly. The people, most especially the youth, must resist from being compelled by unpatriotic politicians who do not have the interests of the country at heart, lure them into thuggery, leading to outbreak of violence. Government, on its part, must ensure an atmosphere of peace and tranquility is provided for the citizens, not only during but before and after elections. As government at all levels make concerted effort in ensuring peace and stability, the government also have a vital role to play, as the task of maintaining peace is a collective one.
Thank you with that report, and we have on the line our reporter from Kajuru, Usman Ibrahim, and I know that Usman Ibrahim, are you with us?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I know one of the gubernatorial candidate is from that local government. Were you able to be there when he voted, or are you there with him?
Yes, I'm now in the polling unit of Ksmc 003, where the gubernatorial candidate of the Social Democratic Party SDP, Alaji Haruna Said, he has just casted his vote, and he is now talking to other media stations. I'm just waiting for him to complete so that I can join you with him.
Now, before they complete, how has the conduct of the election there?
So he is here with me.
Okay.
Hello, sir. I want to Ksmc Media Corporation, Ksmc.
Good afternoon, sir.
Program Mandate.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, you are with the mandate from the KSMC radio here, sir. You've just, we learned that you've just cast your vote and your polling unit. What is your impression on the general conduct of the process?
Well, generally the process is peaceful and transparent at this level. We observe, however, that there is a low turnout. Maybe due to the sun, because it's so humid today. We hope people will turn out when they hear that there's no long queue out here. However, on my own part, I have heard the rumors, people been telling rumors about my withdrawal in the first instance from the rest, which has been so false. And then recently, people have said that while casting my vote, I have dropped dead. So these are all lies, and as I'm speaking to you, not my God. I'm alive and healthy.
Well, sir, looking at the fact that people, the turnout is low, to what do you ascribe this low turnout?
I don't really know. Like I said, the one reason here may be due to the sun, so humid, so hot. Maybe people are doing that heat and they don't want to come out to catch the sun today, but I do not know if that is the ultimate reason. But beyond that, I think nobody can say for sure what the reasons are.
Don't you think that maybe you, the politicians and political parties, have not done enough to mobilize the people so that to see the importance of coming out to really participate in this election?
No, the political parties don't really mobilize people to come out to vote per se. The electoral body does that. People go about campaigning for themselves, that people should vote them, not really to come out. Although in some exceptional cases, like I know I use that too, I encourage people to come out and vote because it is a civic right and responsibility. And exercising that gives them what kind of governance they should expect.
Well, thank you very much, Alaji Haruna Yunusa Said.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
That is one of the gubernatorial candidate of the SDP, in person of Alaji Haruna Yunusa Said. Looking at what he just said, low turnout and peddling of rumors, which has been one of the major challenges been facing, particularly on social media? Alhaji Tabi.
You see, I still have reasons to believe that this election will go smooth and we are going to have people to cast their votes. But do not let us forget that politicians, like my friend said, are making promises that they cannot fulfill. You see, people just think that, you see, once you have the federal government and the federal government is doing everything, they think everything will now come from the government to the state. They have not found a situation whereby the people that are giving them promises at state level are performing. And do not also forget that many people are not ready to actually go out for this election just because they felt the election does not concern them. That is not the fault of anybody. But individually, and until when we realize that whatever my card, if I vote, I have a reason to vote, and I have also a reason to query any government in power. But if I don't cast my vote, I cannot query anybody. But I think what makes people to be running away from this kind of an election, which I call it a local election because it's not a federal election, is because of such promises that politicians are making and they cannot fulfill it. And once we make promise 1, 2, 3 times and we don't fulfill it, people will think that even if we go and we vote for him and he comes to power, he or she comes to power, definitely what will happen is that at the same time we will just be hearing that the economy has not improved, this has not done, the other one has not been done. And see, people are now, you know, they are really afraid of our politicians. And moreover, when politics in this part of the world have been turned into a business, this is a business. It's not a service. It's only people that are coming to serve. And that is why when people cannot get, you find this kind of apathy where money are not changing.
Election is using positive results, whereas voting is currently going on without any issues. As at this time, voting process has gone far. Some places are even about to start rounding up. And of course, some polling units, there is a large turnout of voters compared to last presidential and national assembly election, while in some places, turnout is not so quite different from what was obtained in the last election. And from all indications, the yearly commencement of the exercise taking before is very easy for both the electoral officials, the security agents, and the electors. And of course, with this yearly competition of both much anticipated.
Mohammed, here from here in Kaduna, the sun is scorchy. I don't know whether that is the same thing that is obtainable there in Lere, and does that has anything to do or has affected the people from coming out?
Well, I didn't hear you very well, okay? You said what?
What I say is here the sun is scorchy, and I don't know there in Lere whether it's the same atmosphere you are experiencing or the same condition you are experiencing.
Well, the weather is very hot, of course, here, and well, I can say, yeah, it will be a contributing factor to the low turnout of people, even though, of course, as I said, some places, of course, witness a large turnout.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, you were saying that some places they're about to round up. It's just after 1. Would they stay until the required 2 p.m. before they leave?
Yeah, I think that is the plan, because I was able to talk with one of the deciding officer on whether is there any plan for them to extend the time, even if they exhausted the elections that are presently due. Yeah, he said, yeah, they will extend the time up to 2 p.m. before they start talking and subsequent counting of the votes start, of course.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much, Mohammed. If there's anything, you let us know.
Yeah, that is
Anything unique, yes. Thank you.
That is Mohammed Yahya from Lere.
From Lere Local
Yeah, we'll take
Government
this
Area.
report.
Peace
Peace is key to any development. Let us embrace the culture of togetherness. Be your brother's keeper for a greater Kaduna State and Nigeria.
Security agencies are part of the critical stakeholders in any successful, free and fair electioneering process. Apart from ensuring the safety of all election staff and materials, the security agencies also have the duty to protect the lives and interests of the electorate to enable them exercise this civic responsibility provided for them by the Constitution of the country. However, in doing this, the security agencies must be seen to be and operate within the rules of the engagement. That is why, for the governorship and state assembly elections, the Kaduna State Police Command deployed over 12,000 police officers across the 23 local government areas. This is in addition to over 4,000 personnel from other security agencies like the prison and immigration service, civil defense, custom service, road safety corps, and National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. These security personnel, numbering over 16,000, have been deployed to every polling unit in all the 255 wards of the state to provide needed security for a hitch-free gubernatorial and State House of Assembly polls. Amina Muhammad report.
That was a report on security, but before we discuss what is going on in the area of security, let's hear what people that are following us on Facebook are saying. Umar Ruaya from Sabongari's area, good job. And Joseph Omachi Yanda, according to what my friends and neighbors are saying, reasons why people refuse to come out today is because they feel discouraged from the past presidential election and complain their votes don't count. That's one of the people following us on our Facebook handle. People feel their votes will not count.
Well,
that's the reason that some people are giving.
I think there's a psychological this thing that tied to election is a perception. Sometimes perception is not reality. And you see, I continue to see in average Nigeria, when you cast your vote in a polling unit and your party won in that polling unit, the belief is that your party has won the election. Yeah, I have seen that many people, I cast my vote, my party scored 100, the other party scored 50, started jubilating, not knowing that there are 119,900 something polling units scattered across 774 local governments in the country. Not even know that here also we have more than 40 something thousand polling units scattered. So it's a perception which sometimes are not actually true, because I continue to say it, election is a process, and I think so far through trial by error we have been able to get so many things right. Even the mothers and the fathers of democracy, which is the United States, they are still battling to perfect the system. The election that brought Trump to the office is still being contended. Many people are still being relieved of their job because according to them, other countries has been able to influence the result of the mothers of democracy. Don't anywhere you have a perfect election. No, what we saw is the average. I get him. We said the benchmark assess the election, and I can tell you so far, the 2019 presidential election is one of the most credible elections we ever conducted in this country. People are only crying wolf because of that strict compliance with card reader. No room to alterate the original result as we used to have. That is why you have in a state that you have 1 point something million votes in 2015 election, you have less than 300,000 votes coming from that area, because INEC has excluded issue of incidence form. What do happen before is that when the card reader failed, some deliberately failed the card reader. So there are operators, there are operations. Operators can alter the operations. What we have before this, operators the operation. Now, INEC did not allow the operator to alter the operation. So we should just get used to it. As an individual, have you cast your vote? No. How do you know that your vote did not reflect on the pattern of the election? So it's a perception. Sometimes it's not a reality. We are in this studio. I have already raised my hand that I have not cast my vote and I need to go and do it because I think it's a civic responsibility that I have to do before I'll have that moral authority to question the government in power tomorrow.
Well,
Okay.
yes, you want to
Add to
yes.
yes. So let's receive this, listen to this report before.
Okay.
We comment.
The 2019 general elections are the sixth quadrennial elections since the return of democracy in 1999. However, the 2019 elections, unlike many others, are peculiar in many ways. One of the peculiar features of the 2019 elections as it affects Kaduna State is that, unlike 2015 elections where there were 63 registered political parties with only 12 filled-in candidates for the governorship election in the state, now there are 91 registered political parties with 36 filled-in candidates for the governorship election in Kaduna State. Similarly, over 3.9 million registered voters are expected to vote in the 2019 election against the 3.4 million voters in 2015. The election will be held in 5,102 polling units and over 8,000 voting points across the 23 local government areas of the state. Also of significance is the increase in the number of youth and women vying for elective positions, especially when compared with previous years. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, which is the main opposition party now, was the ruling party in 2015, while the APC, which is the ruling party now, was the main opposition party in 2015. Another distinguishing feature of the 2019 elections is the door-to-door campaign strategy adopted by political parties, especially the ruling APC and the major opposition PDP. As against 2015 elections, where the use of money openly during campaigns was the order of the day, in 2019, that practice is no longer obtainable, as money no longer exchange hands openly as it was in the past. Furthermore, this time around, incident form as an alternative where the card reader failed to work or capture a voter will not be used. In addition to this, accreditation and voting will be done simultaneously, unlike in 2015, where accreditation was done before the voting process. However, one major concern now is the problem of vote buying and the increased rate of use of hate speech and fake news by political parties, their candidates, and supporters. This is indeed a serious source of concern to any well-meaning Nigeria.
Our correspondent.
on peculiarities of the 2019
See,
election.
So,
yeah, all of us have actually.
I see
Saying
you
almost
anxious,
the same
eager
thing.
to
Yes,
really comment on it.
you see, what we are saying is this: it is a learning process. It is not a process that can be perfect in one day. It is never done, even all over the world. Somebody, when we were discussing last 2 weeks here, somebody referred to the case of India. If India is doing their election, you can even do your registration. You can do your registration, cast your vote, or you could go to your office and come back and cast your vote. Nobody will alter your vote because there is nobody that will give you money. What you are doing is that you want a good government in your country or in your state that will run for everybody, irrespective of political party or ethnic group. Because when election is going on like this, one person will have to win. It takes two to a tango. There must be a loser and a winner. But when you are talking about your card is not holding now, when you are not INEC, you see, this is where we have problem as a black man. Everybody wants his candidate to win. All candidates cannot win. How many governors are we going to have if every candidate is winning? Go and vote for a credible candidate that will win, because we want the best to rule us, not the other way around. The best must rule the rest. It's not a case of somebody just come to power, he wants to make money and go away, and the next time election come, he go back to his store and come out with all the money he has looted from the public vault. And then that's the type of leadership that people are looking at. People are not looking for a leader that will provide us all amenities that we need, like what it used to be in Kaduna in those days, where the pump water is working, what it used to be in Kaduna in those days, where you go to hospital. I know when we are in primary school, you can decide to go to hospital when you are not sick, because they will give you the APC or whatever. Sorry to APC body capacity. They will give you that
sweet
yes, that drug like that for malaria and the rest of it. These are free. We want to go and take it. Government are provided. The provisions are there. Today, nothing is working. There's nothing, and we still want to talk that we don't need a government that will provide all these things for us. The generation that are coming after us, we stone some of us if we are alive, and they did not see anything happening with their wealth positively. It is really wrong for people to assume that any party that they vote for must win. I believe in one thing: if I contest an election and I lose an election, I gallantly lose, because I know the people don't want me at that time. When the people want you, they will come for you. But for people just to sit down in their house, they are not, because my vote will not count. Who's counting your vote? How many votes do you have?
One of the issues raised is the issue of money.
Exchanging
hands.
Openly before.
Which is not forthcoming now. What would you say?
Well, I think it's the annal of history of election in Nigeria. There have never been a general election. What I mean by general, both presidential, bicameral house, the governor, that the security agencies, the anti-corrupting agencies are beaming such light on this transaction. It has never happened. It was so strict, it has been compressed, that it become difficult for politicians to roll out dollars to exchange a hand. But I don't really want to that, because Nigerians are ingenious in the sense that they can find a way to alter the system if they really want it. I know this, but I don't want to attribute lack of people coming out to because money is not exchanging hand. Yeah, it is hard to eat, because people will look at what I stand to benefit. In fact, the last presidential election, I see one of the candidates trying to buy minerals for the people so that they can still stay and cast their vote. So you see, the major challenge we are having is that reorientation of the people on the importance of election. I continue to say this: election is different, voting is different. So voters' education should be continuous. We have national orientation agencies. Their sole responsibility, the existence of that institution, is to reorient Nigeria into cardinal principle of governance. And election is one of it. Election should not be an ad hoc arrangement where 1 year to election or 8 months to election, then you started producing jingle in the media houses, you started holding conferences. No, it should be an all year round. Well, if it can even be incorporated into the academic cycle, so that even when you are in school, you know the importance of casting your vote. I think if these people will be able to assimilate this and comprehend it, you don't need to motivate anybody financially to go and cast their vote. They will do it willingly. And again, the lack of spirit of sportsmanship in our politicians, by willingly accept that, yeah, I lose it, I can go back and re-strategize so that by next time I'll win. And again, the winner takes all mentality of Nigerian politicians, where the man who won look at the entire system now his own umpire, without actually meeting the man who lose. Look, during your campaign, you have some fantastic idea you roll out. How do we incorporate it into our own so that we can move the state further? It contributes to some of these things. So I think, as I said it all, I agree with him on one important issue, that you can't really say, yes, there is serious maybe voter party until end of the day, because of we are having 23 local government, right? And so far we have got report for about 6 or 7 or 8 or so. But overall, I think democracy have come to stay, and people are now knowing that yeah, if I go out and cast my vote, I can actually change the government. And again, the politicians should stop promising what they cannot do, as he said earlier, because the expectations are high. In fact, somebody once tell me that when the government win, the next thing that you go to clinic, then the treatment is free, then there will be social insurance. You know, so these things are part of the factor.
Thank you very much. I think Stella, you
okay, yeah. Let's hear this report. Well done, Ksmc. We didn't hear from your reporters of Southern Kaduna. The reports are coming, or maybe he joined after they had.
That's exactly what we're saying. Because we cannot tell exactly the turnout in that area now.
So we take another report, after which the discussion continues.
State is cosmopolitan in nature, with a population of over 6 million people going by census figures. It is the third most populous state in the country, with over 200 tribes cutting across the 23 local government areas. By its cosmopolitan nature, Kaduna State is faced with challenges ranging from insecurity, farmers' harder clashes, cattle rustling, education, dwindling economy, poor infrastructure, and the likes. In this respect, with about 30 governorship candidates for the March 9th gubernatorial election in Kaduna State, the next governor might face these challenges. Insecurity has been a major challenge to people of the state, even though the present government has been able to reduce it. Kidnapping along Kaduna-Abuja Road, Kaduna-Birnin-Gwari-Funtua Road, armed robbery, and banditry has also become a source of worry to people in the state and even beyond. So also the farmer-herder clashes in the southern part of the state. The present administration tackled the issue, but it still remains a huge challenge to any incoming governor. Ethno-religious conflict is also another major challenge that any governor elected will have to contend with. Drug abuse among youths, women, married and unmarried, has become another challenge bedeviling most Nigerian societies, Kaduna State inclusive. This issue has torn families apart and is wreaking a lot of havoc in the state.
That is challenges of the incoming governor, what he will be facing, whoever is announced successful.
Emerges, yes.
Yeah, or emerges successful. Let me take you on, Malam Ibrahim, on this issue, particularly issue of these drugs, and these drugs pervade, cut across both young and old, and males and female. So, to what extent do you think this will be a challenge to any incoming government?
I think there is a common saying that an idle man is a devil's manufacturing firm. Yeah, an idle man or woman, people who are not engaged in any activities at all, stay idle, so they take anything that comes in. I think if you look at the psychology of some of these people that take these drugs, to their own thinking, they are using it to while away time. It's just like you are trying to escape from a certain harsh reality of yours, thinking that when you are on drug, automatically that problems go away. But they don't know that it's like this the law of gravity is to work the same everywhere. If they say if you pour water in a basket in Lagos, if you take the same basket to Sokoto, if you pour water, you get the same result. So if you take drug from morning till evening, when your eye clear, that problem is still there waiting for you. So I think the reality is that we need grassroots mobilization and reorientation of the people, and it starts from that nucleus family. You see, we have a challenges, especially in this northern part of the country, where individual, the family level, the father, the mother, the brother has kissed their own responsibility to the governance. Are you getting me? So many people will look at every problem that is a problem that all the government can solve. No, you have your own challenges of reorienting your youth, reorienting the children you born, give them the dignity in labor, tell them the importance of getting something doing. Sometimes I'm very scary when you go to the street, the large chunks of youth who are on this one, even the married, sorry to say, some even married women and unmarried women, why they said they look at it as a trending issue. At in fact, there was a case recently where a marriage actually took place, and during the marriage, I just want to tell you how impactful it is. During the marriage, handset got lost in that marriage, and it is all women affair in that house, and they now decide that all the women in this room, we are going to check your bags because a handset is missing. Nobody should go out. You cannot believe that when they check the handbag of all the women in that house, no single handbag that they did not see drugs on it in that particular marriage. What does that tell you? Which means we are having a serious challenges on our hand, but it's not something government can solve alone. The religious leader have a role to play. I and you as a social commentator have a role to play. The nucleus family have a role to play. all stakeholders must come together to see how we are going to address this issue. If that the issue we think that a government policy alone can be able to solve, I think we are just living in a
Thank you very much.
Yes, that's it. So, Mr. Tajuan, this issue of security, it's something that appears, will I say, unsurmountable, because so much has been done, and yet we are yet to get it right. What do you think is not being done, or that needs to be done to really tackle this issue of security? We're talking kidnapping, we're talking this banditry, we're talking like this issue of Benugwari that has become it's like their heaven there. How do we get it right?
If you look at those who are involved with this kind of atrocities, you find out that they are the age bracket of 18 to 35. That's the type of people that you see in doing that. What will be responsible, that is what we are asking ourselves now. And there are many things that are responsible. One, if you had a bad governance, the result must be that there be tolerance. The result must be that the children that are growing and are expecting that certain things will have to be done to them and not done will go into whatever way to get whatever they want to get. You cannot forget in the past that in every nook and cranny of Kaduna State, for instance, you have primary schools that are free. Everybody goes to the primary school. And there's this idea that if you send a person to school, you have closed the gate of the prison. Because he might from the left. Although some of these guys that are involved in this alleged kidnapping and the rest of them are also educated. But what leads them to this is because there is a bad governance. There is a governance that have been in government for many years and did not take note that there is the security implication of what they are doing. Flaunting of wealth, building of aeroplane as a house, giving children that are underage motor to drive. And when those ones that are on the road begging and not sleeping, those your children you have sent to America are not going to sleep one day too. And these are the problem that is creating the insecurity that we're actually talking about. Because if you create a good atmosphere for those ones that don't have anybody to send them to the best of the schools and become somebody, or when they leave school, they also get a job, like my son that was lucky to go to Oxford.
Okay. Now,
yes, the issue of insecurity will reduce.
Thank you very much, Male Ibrahim. Looking at this fact, do you think now, if going by the statistics we have, number of youth that are now involved in politics is increasing by the day? Youth are getting interested in politics. Do you think this is a good development that will really help in reducing this issue of insecurity, joblessness, unemployment, and so on and so forth?
Well, I think you see, I have to be realistic here. Maybe I can still count myself as a youth considering the age bracket, but the reality is that I have never been a party those who ascribe the leadership quality to age bracket. That all what you need to be a leader is for you to be young, between the age of maybe 18 to 35 or 40. No, it goes beyond that, as we have seen. But it is good omen when the president passed that bill, not too young to run. Are you getting me? Well, everybody happened it. But the reality is that if you look at the structure of governance in Nigeria, how many of those youths have that structure? Unless we exercise patience to learn from those leaders. I continue to tell people, yes, we said the current leader has failed the country. I agree to some extent. They have also done their best also in the other hand. If the generation that is not following them did not exercise patience to learn the ropes, are you getting me? To learn those leadership traits that the late Sadana, the late Awolowo, the late Zigu to live for us, we won't get there. Yet are participating in the governance. Most of us who are participating in governance actually want to start life from the top. Really, yeah. they are participating in the governance. That you learn to be a councillor, you are now House of Rep, your allowance is 20 million, you buy big cars and do holiday in Malaysia, then you do holiday in London. This is what they look. They are not looking at governance as a service delivery to the people until they be able to know that to go to public office means if it's even more, it's more challenging to you. Are you getting me? Because what you mean is that the whole society problem is now on your head on how to cater for the people. But no, the perception of most of us is that, yeah, if I am now House of Rep or maybe a senator, automatically I am a big man in Nigerian context. So unless we check that orientation that public office is about service delivery, public service is about caring for the people. In fact, public service itself is a burden in quote.
Yeah, and it is part of the public service here. Development there at Kaduna North local government?
Well, in Kaduna North local government, everything is moving as expected because voting commenced as early as 8 a.m. Of course, all the tours was in the local government area.
Okay, now how do you see the turnout of voters? Because there are some complaints in some voters that there is a low turnout of voters.
Actually, in Kaduna North local government, there is a low turnout of voters, especially in the Kaduna metropolis, where I visited almost 6 wards in the Kaduna metropolis. There are low turnout of voters. Like in Kau area, I went Kau, I saw a town crier calling for people to come out to vote because there is low turnout in every polling unit.
What about the issue of security?
Well, in terms of security, all security agents put in place are doing their job. There is security intact. The security are intact.
Okay, this is very interesting. You know, it has gone to the state to the point of getting town criers to call out people to come and perform this very important civic duty. And it really underscores what Malam Ibrahim was saying, this need for people to really understand, to be educated about the importance of casting votes. Even if you think that the vote will not come, which you are not even sure of.
Exactly. So that's I said earlier. It's
so if you don't vote,
how are you getting? It's a perception. Yeah. It's a perception that yes, the vote will not count. But we have seen areas where the people turn out a match and they change the government. I'll give you an example of what happened in the general election. If Ajimobi, governor of Oyo State, who earlier won all the state, now lost his own senatorial zone. If Governor Dankwambo, who earlier won all Gombo State, lost his, so what does that tell? That means the vote in that area actually count, because yes, these are the sitting governor who has all the machinery to manipulate the system if they want to manipulate it. So that means if Akpabio, a former governor of Anambra State, who installed the governor, lost his, what does that tell you? That means the vote has actually begun to count. So you see, I don't know what people mean that because the vote will not count, I will not cast my vote. It's a two-way issue. Perform your own civic responsibility first. Then, secondly, you can now inquire from the system, why is it that my vote did not count? But as I said earlier, it's not something that we can do on spot. It's something that has to be gradual. After the election, the government will have to devise another way of passing the voters' education down to the people, and again getting the local people involved in this education, speaking the language in which they understand. I continue to, as a media manager, I continue to tell people there's a misconception that if you place a jingle in a radio, automatically it's thrown down. It's lie. Unless you be able to speak in interpretative meaning that people understand, passing a jingle alone will not solve the problem. That means physical interaction sometimes is also very, very important.
Thank you very much. Let's listen to this report.
We need peace over our nation, but over Nigeria.
The Kaduna State Peace Commission calls on all stakeholders to imbibe peaceful conduct as the only way to carry out electoral campaigns during the forthcoming general elections, to vote peacefully on election days, to celebrate victories in a peaceful manner, and channel all complaints using peaceful and legal means. Let the love for peace replace the love for power. This message is from Kaduna State Peace Commission.
The legislature, as a democratic institution, is a deliberative assembly with the responsibility to make laws for a political entity, such as a state or country. It is an arm or branch of government with the primary function of enacting laws for the good governance of the people in a country. In addition to this, the institution, which might be unicameral or bicameral legislature, as it is with Nigeria, is charged with the responsibility of approving government budgets, confirming appointments of the executive arm, ratifying treaties, and addressing grievances from constituencies. Members of the legislature are usually elected by their constituencies to be their representatives at the federal or state level, as the case may be. This explains why many regarded the institution of the legislature as the only true symbol of democracy, as all the other two branches of government could be found in other systems of government. In the case of Nigeria, the legislative arm of government consists of the Senate, which is the upper chamber, and the House of Representatives, the lower chamber with members representing the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. While at the state level, the legislature is unicameral, consisting of members representing state assembly constituencies drawn from the local government areas of a particular state. It is also the only democratic institution that is truly representative of the entire population of the country, states or local government, as the case may be. This is for the simple reason that they represent various shades of interest, values, and aspirations of the people that make up the country or state. To further underscore the importance of this institution in a democratic setup, no government can operate successfully without the legislature.
Legislature as a democratic institution. Now, would you say that Nigerian electorate really understand the working and importance of this very institution?
I think a direct answer is no. Yeah, no, in the sense that I have interacted with a lot of people. If I tell you today that ask many people, they don't even know the person that is contesting in their constituency, across all the political party. You know, there is this bandwagon effect that has worked perfectly for some people. They hide under the cover of a popular candidate and contest for state assembly, and before you know it, they are there. So this is what we have. Many people don't even know that we have 34 state constituencies today, so they don't know who is contesting, who is he represented, what is he going to do, and that is why we have relatively weak state assembly across over the federation, because the media we had for nobody is beaming searchlight on them. They don't know the importance of that oversight function, importance of that creating law for the populace. Most of them, the state executive has annexed those legislators. That is why they are unheard of. Unlike maybe in the Second Republic, where you have so many impeachment of governors, fracas. But fracas is not synonymous to good governance. I agree, but they are not lively. That is why everybody is talking about senior president. Saraki lost election because everybody know they are always entangled with the executive. But come to the state, what do you have? As if they are not even existing. So that is why I said we need serious orientation, people to know the importance of this state assembly, their function, and what they own the society. Otherwise, the trending will continue to the next election.
Thank you very much, and I think we will let you off the hook,
okay,
so that
I can go and perform my civic
responsibility.
Exactly.
So we thank you very much, Malam Ibrahim, for coming on the program, The Mandate, to share your experiences.
Okay, so it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Peace is key to any development. Let us embrace the culture of togetherness. Be your brother's keeper for a greater Kaduna State and Nigeria.
Yeah, welcome back to the program, The Mandate. The program that is keeping you abreast with what is happening across Kaduna State as the people go out to vote for their The people that will represent them are the State House of Assembly and the State Governor. With me in the program is my colleague Mahmoud Sani.
Yeah. Before we just go for this break, we listened to the report on the legislature as a democratic institution, and I would like to ask Alhaji Tajudeen Jibadi, what do you think should be done so that people will really understand the working of the legislature, so that they really participate in ensuring that yes, credible people are elected into the legislature to bring the necessary representation of the people.
You see, first and foremost, people have turned politics into a business. Politics is a vocation, it's not a profession. In other climes, saner climes, you do politics and you do your business. They do politics as a part-time thing in order to serve the people. In this part of the world, it is just a business. I want to go there, I want to make money, I don't want to make law. So if you are talking about legislative arm of government, you can even see from those we elect as legislators, immediately they get there, the government gave them a lot of money to go and buy cars, give them a lot of money to go and do this, collect what they call constituency allowances, and that constituency allowances does not even go down to the people who elect them into office because they don't know them. You see, there are people that even...
You are a journalist. What are you doing in that direction towards
a good legislator? Yes, a good legislator must be ready. You see, legislative arm of government should be one arm that actually perform the role of a check and balances. A situation where you have a legislator that budget of the government goes to the house and another 24 hours there's a year. That means the budget has become a law. It's not a legislative arm. A legislative arm that will scrutinize whatever is coming from the government, honestly. Not because you have a personal ambition.
What's the benchmark for measuring the performance of the legislature?
The benchmark to perform a legislator to perfect is when the people in his constituency is feeling what their legislator is doing to them, because he's the one representing them. Nobody from for instance, a constituency, don't let me mention the name of any constituency before I be misquoted. In Kaduna, for instance, as a legislator, and legislator represent them, those people in that area need not to see the governor. They don't have any business with the governor. They have a business with the man they have elected in the local area to represent. Is the governor of that constituency. The governor of the state is the governor of all the states. So it is what your constituency brings in that the governor will listen to.
Okay, Mr.
People in opposition.
Yeah. Talking about incompetent or will I call them incompetent, legislators, people that are voted in that just came in, just as you said, to market themselves.
Yes.
What is the implication of this to governance and democracy itself?
You don't have development that's supposed to come from your legislator. In the past, you find out that you have what you call hospitals in local government areas.
Let's receive this report.
Yes.
Hello, Majidadi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is happening there in Kachia local government?
Okay. Well, Kachia, the election has been held and it has been on the peaceful note. Even though the turnout in some areas, the turnout is a bit low compared to the presidential election, but the election was around 6 morning. The results, the materials arrived very early. So around 8:30, the election started in earnest. And so far, the areas that are visited, we have only little issues of card readers in some few polling units. But the INEC officials were there for prompt intervention. So generally, the election is the units that are visited just now. It's like they have exhausted most of the people that are on queue. The INEC staff are repeated waiting for more people that will come before the 4 o'clock.
Now, are people aware that once it is 2, if you are not on the queue, you cannot be allowed to vote?
We are very much aware, very, very much aware. very much aware of that. We tried to inquire. Some of them went to farm, some of them went to do other things, but they were optimistic that they will come before 2 o'clock.
Now, what about the issue of security?
Well, honestly, as I said earlier, relatively the place is calm, so there's enhanced security in almost all the places that I have visited. And then one other information I would like to add here is that there is another real election that is currently taking place in Vishini Ward, because during the House of Representative elections last week, the result was declared inconclusive because of the irregularities, lack of usage of card reader in Vishini Ward. So as I'm talking to you now, apart from the governorship and the State House of Assembly election, that of rest is taking place in Vishini Ward of Katia local government area.
Okay, let me take this.
Well, thank you very much, Majid Ali.
Let me take this.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. Let me take this report from one of our followers. Our electoral system needs reform. Let government change voters' card like ATM card. What discouraged some people from going out to cast their votes is the feeling that their votes will not count. Then Ladi Alexander Karji. Still repeating the same, my vote will not count. Believe so. Tajudin, it's still there. My vote will not count.
Before Tajudin respond, please,
Yes.
let's take this report.
Sir Ahmed El-Rufai was born on the 16th of February 1960 in Dodawa of Faskari local government area of Katsina State. He returned to Kaduna State at the age of 8, where he started his early education. Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai attended Barewa College, Zaria in 1976. From there, he proceeded to the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where he obtained a bachelor degree in quantity surveying with first-class honors. From there, El-Rufai proceeded for further studies at Harvard Business School and Georgetown University. In 2008, he completed a law degree from the University of London and a master's degree in public administration from John F. Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University in 2009. Nasir El-Rufai started his career in 1982 as a quantity surveyor in his project management consulting firm with 3 other partners who handled building and civil engineering projects in Nigeria. El-Rufai's first experience with the government began under the transition government of General Abdulsalami, where he served as an advisor. Following the 1999 elections, he was appointed Director General of Bureau of Public Enterprises, Nigerian Lead Privatization Agency, and also the Secretary of the National Council of Privatization. Between 1999 and 2003, he spearheaded the successful privatization of many government-owned companies. Between 2003 to May 2007, El-Rufai served as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Also in 2007, he was elected by late President Umaru Yar'Adua to the National Energy Council and resigned the position in 2008. During the tenure, he chaired several high-profile cabinet committees that led to the establishment of a mortgage system, national ID card system, electric power supply improvements, and the sale of federal government real estate in Abuja. In 2015, he successfully campaigned for the office of the governor of Kaduna State under the platform of the All Progressives Congress and was elected, beating the incumbent governor. Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai is married to 3 wives and blessed with children.
That is the profile of one of the gubernatorial candidate and the incumbent governor, Malam Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai. Do you think profile and antecedents of candidates do count in the way or the pattern of voting of candidates?
It is a key to success in a modern world. For anybody who has a good background, those who are listening to such and who have come across such backgrounds also decide where such person should be. Let us be very honest with ourselves. This profile, it has been done all over the world, and that is why when people are not alive again, you see that you are reading what you call a biography. It is this profile thing that later led into biography. It's what you have done when you were there that people will talk about you. Because Somebody was telling us when we were in newsroom in those days that Sir Amadou Bello of blessed memory is always talking about nobody will do my PR for me. They are busy blowing their own trumpet. Let me blow my trumpet by myself. So if you wait there and you are expecting that somebody should blow it for you without actually telling them, how many people are going to know about you? And let me be very honest with you, a profile is a very important thing when it comes to judge anybody. Not necessarily when you are contesting election, when you are looking for anything. So that people may not think that we are using this to campaign. No. What we are saying is that a profile is a very good thing. If you listen to adverts in your radio or Ileri radio of the SDP governorship candidate in Kaduna State, they said, "Me ilimina samani." You understand? So, and people understand it as somebody, you see, it makes him to look big, and he's a big person. So these are some of the things. It helps, really. It helps.
Okay, so let's look at what this guy that's following us said. The issue of the electoral system needing to be reformed.
Yes.
Is that really a problem?
You see, reformation is not a thing that you do once. We are just 20 years old in democracy. After the aborted democracy in 1966, when there was the army coup, other things that have been coming, we were falling and we are standing. We are falling and we are standing until we even get the Second Republic. The Second Republic also collapsed. It is from 1999 now that we can check that Nigeria has something to say about democracy. So if you are looking for a reform, there are certain things that they have been put in place for us by the colonial master, which will actually take a long time before we reform it. We cannot tell you that everything that we are going to do now will not have something of that background that were left for us by the colonial master. It will reach a stage, like other countries have done in Africa, where they have Africanized all what they are doing, or indigenized, let me use that word. And you can come to that stage also. You see, somebody is actually saying there are areas where people are now casting their votes in other clime without actually going to the post. So we will get there. So you cannot say whether my vote is going to count or not count. I send it from my house and it will be counted.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Tajuddin Ajibade. We'll take this report, and after that report, we'll give way for our colleagues to come and carry on with the job of keeping people posted on minute-by-minute activities of what is happening
across the state,
on this very important election. So let's listen to this report.
Muhammad Isa Ashur Kudan was born on 23rd October 1962 in Kudan local government area of Kaduna State. He attended LEA Primary School, Kudan, from 1968 to 1974. Then he attended secondary school from 1975 to 1980 at Kufena College, Zaria. He proceeded to Katsina Polytechnic, where he earned a national diploma in business administration from 1982 to 1985. From 1987 to 1989, he attended Kaduna State Polytechnic and completed his higher national diploma HND. In 1990, he did his National Youth Service in Borno State. He acquired a master's degree in public policy and administration from 2000 to 2001 at Bayero University, Kano, BUK. Alhaji Muhammad Isa Ashur Kudan worked in various ministries in Kaduna State from 1980 to 1997. In 1996, he contested for chairmanship under the platform of Zero Party and lost. He recontested in 1997 under Social Democratic Party, SDP, and lost again. He contested for membership Kaduna State House of Assembly, representing Kudan constituency of Kaduna State under the platform of DPN, and lost. From 1999 to 2003, he was elected member Kaduna State House of Assembly, representing Kudan under PDP, and from 2003 to 2007, he was re-elected for the second time. In 2007 to 2011, he was elected member representing Makarpi Kudan Federal Constituency under PDP, and he was re-elected for second term in 2011 to 2015. In 2014, he decamped to APC and contested for the gubernatorial primaries and lost to Malang Nasuru El-Rufai. In 2018, he returned to PDP and won the gubernatorial primaries in Kaduna State and announced Barrister Sunday Marshall Katun as his running mate.
Well, thank you very much, without reporter Nura Bello. And Stella, I think we will leave Alaji Tajuddin with our colleagues so that they take off from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're very much welcome. That's Hadiza Bayero Aliu and Mero Tahir.
Good afternoon, Stella. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good
Yes,
afternoon.
it's good to take over from you guys so that you can rest and then come back later.
Yeah.
We need peace over our nation, but over Nigeria.
The Kaduna State Peace Commission calls on all stakeholders to imbibe peaceful conduct as the only way to carry out electoral campaigns during the forthcoming general elections, to vote peacefully on election days, to celebrate victories in a peaceful manner, and channel all complaints using peaceful and legal means. Let the love for peace replace the love for power. This message is from Kaduna State Peace Commission.
We need peace.
Yes, the program is still The Mandate, coming to you live on Kaduna State Radio Nigeria, and we are just taking over from Stella Bature and Mamu Sani. My name is Mero Tahir, and together with Hadiza Bayero Aliyu, we shall anchor this segment. And we have guests in the studio in the person of Dr. Saidu and Musa Zuberu. You are welcome.
Thank you very much, Mero.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for being here.
Yes. Dr. Said Tafida, of course, a public analyst, and for this purpose, Musa Zuberu Usman, a current affairs analyst too, but a permanent secretary,
Permanent commissioner.
permanent commissioner, Assembly
Service Commission.
Service Commission. But for this reason, it is going to be public analyst.
Yeah.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, let me just start this way. It's the governorship and State House of Assembly elections. How crucial is this election? I'll start with you, Madam Zubiru.
Yes, the State Assembly election is very, very crucial. And we can say the state elections are closer to the people, because the Assembly, for example, makes the law for the people within the state. And when you look at the roles they play, and in presidential democracy, the tiers of government must be respected. because I think you asked me this question based on the fact that many people thought that with the election of the president or the election at the federal level, then everything is over. So the fact is that the state elections are also very, very crucial because each tier of government has its own importance. And the importance of each tier of government should not be really undermined or overlooked. So I feel that it is very, very important that particularly that the state determine or makes the law by which people are governed. There are certain functions of the federal government that the state cannot be able to perform, and there are certain functions of the state the federal government cannot perform. And most of those functions of the state that the federal government cannot perform are those that affect the people directly. So within that, with that in mind, we feel the election in at the state level is equally important, just like what we have in the federal government, because each has a specific role that it's supposed to play within the presidential democratic system.
Okay, Dr. Said, you're just back from, will I say, the field?
Yes.
Yes, let's just take a little bit from what Madam Zubiru has said, the importance of this election. What did you see out there, the turnout?
I must say, even though it's already 2 p.m., but I must say I wasn't really impressed, especially within Kaduna Metropolis. Unlike presidential election where we had people waiting, in fact, I had a friend who protested that she had to be allowed to vote. Here it is the election officials that are waiting for people to come on board. The turnout isn't as impressive as anticipated, considering that this is a very, very important election. The presidential election is in no way more important than this, because this is when you're electing a person who is responsible for your primary education, your secondary education, your health, because the Kaduna State system presently handles all the local government and the state apparatus. This is an election where you elect a person who represents you at a ward level. That is your member of the State House of Assembly. A person you can reach every day to request for anything to be done. This is the time to vote someone who you pay your taxes to. Because as an employee, anywhere you are resident, you pay your taxes to the state, except if you are military personnel. This is an important election. And we pray that if you didn't go out, please try and go. The electoral officials may still allow you out.
Okay, Dr. Said, from what you just said, looking at the caliber of people that came out to contest the State Houses of Assembly election now, due to its importance. Now we are talking about ideology, and then now you see the people joining parties, not because of ideological beliefs, but because of the winning party in court. Some people will just join parties just because they want to win, and when they win, that it ends there. What do you want to add?
We really thank God things are moving towards what we want, but to be sincere, some of things like this are some of the consequences of an infant democracy, where people see this as a means of employment rather than service. You see this as a means to control resources rather than be accountable, which slowly it's changing, but we're not there yet. Now, people need to know, with Oga Zubairu, we meet in a different level, at a different work, and the work we do is we collaborate with him to make sure that we track even those elected. So don't think you're going to win. We are here waiting for you. Because in reality, you have to be accountable. You have to know if you win, people are expecting so much from you. So don't, but yeah, it's true. People follow the wing. If you know you are in a certain big party with a big party name, you feel naturally you've won, and if you come, you're untouchable. It's not true, because we know people who were in that wing that are not coming back now, simply because they are not accountable.
Okay, fine. Madam Zubiru, Dr. Said touched on something. People without ideologies just forming parties and all that. Now, do you think this is good for a young democracy like Nigerians? And of course, what is the quality of such people, or what should the quality of politicians be in the first place?
You see, we have a problem in this country that people hide in the shadows of other people to win elections. Like the presidential election, when you look at it, you find that many people win because of the popularity of a candidate, especially those people in the Senate and the House of Reps. So the trend has come down even to the state level, to the extent that I can tell you most of the people don't know the people they are electing to go and represent them in the legislature. They don't know them, because they are really hiding under the canopy or the influence or the popularity of our candidate. So this problem really is a serious problem for us in this country. So not until such a time that we organize an election where each candidate will stand on his own to be a judge as qualified to represent the people he is supposed to represent, for the people that are voting for him to know him very well. Because you see, I can tell you, when we went for some kind of advocacy visit in some communities, they were only interested in the principal offices. Like during the election of the president, the only people they know are the presidential candidate of party A and party B. They don't care about the other parties, and they don't care about the other people that are contesting in the legislature. And legislature is the vanguard of every democracy. Any democracy you see in the world, the legislature is the vanguard. So likewise, this the gubernatorial election. When you come here to Kaduna State, for example, only the principal aspirants are known. So to the extent that the people that will make the law, the people that will approve your budget, the people that will oversee the functions of the executive, you don't know them. So there is problem. So not until such a time that people can appreciate the people that make the laws for them, people can appreciate the people that will carry out the oversight function on the expenditure being carried out by the executive, or not until you know that. So when you don't know that, when you don't care about that, then there is problem. So these are the problems that I think we are trying to make people to understand. And it is on this that we call
before you say that, before your call.
No, okay. I hope I won't forget.
Don't forget.
Okay.
Yes. As Madam Musa is just coming from the field, just like Dr. Saidu.
Yes.
I see him donning
yes,
I just want to ask him this question quickly. What did you see about vote buying and vote selling? Because from past elections, we've heard reports, though not very much during the presidential elections, but then in the past, you hear cases of vote buying and vote selling. Did you notice anything of such when you went around today?
Well, I went around before I went for a program in one of the stations. I have not seen things like that, but they are happening. But I don't think they call it vote buying now. They give it a different name. It's just like maybe you are canvassing, you are trying to encourage people to come out and cast their vote. So things like that, they have given it a different name. But in whatever name you call it, the idea is that you pay people to come and exercise their civic right, which is really not enough. You know, so political parties and aspirants have taken over the work of some agencies of government, which is really wrong.
That's
yes.
what I wanted to say earlier. So, Doctor, that's what I want to ask Dr. Said. Now, Dr. Said, whose responsibility is it to educate voters, to sensitize them, to mobilize them? How much do the political parties play in this, or are they supposed to have parts in this?
Constitutionally, it's the electoral bodies.
Yeah.
But holistically, it is everybody's responsibility.
Yeah.
Political parties mainly are keys to it. Unfortunately, the political parties exploit this poor knowledge and they leave a leverage on it. And that's why it's always repeating and occurring and reoccurring. But to be sincere, we have to find a way to do something very strong.
Sorry, I'll just stop you here. We have our Aliu Bello from Sabongari local government who is on the line. Aliu, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you are on. So what's happening? What's the yes?
The situation here in Sabongari local government area is, I think, the election is going on successfully. It was commenced in the morning early as 8, some polling units, some exactly, some 9. But let's see, we can say the elections today commenced very early compared with the last election.
Okay, good. Aliu, can you just give us what the weather is like in Sabongari and how the people are looking at the expressions in their faces? Are they happy? Are they excited?
Yes, people are happy and excited because wherever you go through the local government area, you find people grouping, discussing on the election and what have you. And from the mood and the way that people think, they are excited and they are expecting something that is pleasant.
What is the weather like in Zaria? Aliu?
Hello?
What is the weather like in Zaria?
The weather is sunny, it's a little bit
Mhm.
because it's hard. And maybe that's the reason why some people even left the voting unit. Most of the people are most of the voting units are in some of the units now, and they don't start counting. And I think that has to be two things. One, the hard commencement of the election today, and two, the sort out the relatively
Okay. Thank you very much, Ali Bello, for that, for your update, and we'll still get back to you to give us more from Sabungari. That was our correspondent, Ali Bello from Sabungari. Thank you very much for being on the line.
And you're still on to Ksmc Radio Kaduna. The program is The Mandate, coming to you live from our studios. We'll take this message. When we return, we shall continue.
The Fifth Assembly of the Kaduna State House of Assembly was inaugurated on the 8th of June 2015 with 34 members representing their respective constituencies. It was considered as the best assembly with the highest number of bills passed into law since the inception of democracy in May 29 of 1999. This number of bills include the executive bills, private member bills, motions and resolutions of the Honorable House. Today, the House was able to pass into law over 74 categories of lawmaking process, with some of them putting into effect by the present administration of the state. The examples of these laws made by the House and implemented by the present administration include the one that gave government the legal backing to establish the Kaduna State Traffic Law Enforcement Agency, Castilia, which has started yielding fruitful results. Other bills give room for the establishment of Kaduna State Geographical Information Service, KADGIS, Kaduna Investment Promotion Agency, KADIPA, Kaduna Water Sanitation Commission, KADSWAC, among others. It is worthy of note that the characteristics of leadership in the House saw Aminu Abdullahi Shagali, representing Sabangari constituency, as the Speaker of the House, while Goro Shadilapia, representing Kagarko, emerged as the Deputy Speaker after the suspension of John Audu representing Kachia constituency, from the House, following his defection from the ruling All Progressive Congress, the APC, to the main opposition party, the PDP. However, Haruna Mohammed Inu Mabu, representing Doka Gabasa constituency, emerged as the majority leader and chairman House Committee on Security and Intelligence, while Abdul Wahab Idris Kulmu Kogi, representing Ikra, is the deputy majority leader. Barrister Kantok Irimia Ishaku, representing Zonkwa, is the minority leader, and the suspended Dr. Biton Yakubu Yonkom, representing Karo constituency, emerged as the deputy minority leader. A member representing Igabu West constituency, Yusuf Ibrahim Zelani, is the chief whip of the House.
Well, welcome back, and the program is still Mandate, coming to you on the services of the KSMC, and we still have in the house our guests, Professor Dr. Said and Malum Musa Zubeiru. We're still looking at issues and challenges of the elections. Like, I'll take you back a bit. We're talking about.
I think one of our correspondents is on the line.
Okay, you can take that, Miro.
Okay, Zachary. Hello, hello, Zachary. Hello, Zachary. Your line is breaking. Not very well. Okay, go ahead, Zachary from Igabi. Yes, okay. What's the situation like? Okay.
I want to report that at the moment, two of the polling units I have just visited have concluded.
They have concluded voting.
They have concluded. They have concluded. One of them is I was surprised. I had to have interaction with some of the people.
Okay.
And they have complained that entire village, which is about 1,000 plus people, there is none of the senior voters have received their voter card. So there are less than 204 in the polling unit. And so they have rounded up, and I told the electoral
Zachary, let's get you straight. You mean there are about 1,000 registered voters there? The entire community, yes. Their population is about 1,000. It's about 1,000. But it's just about 240 people that registered and voted? And 9.
And have they finished voting there?
Yes, and they have completed their voting. They have concluded. They have concluded voting. Nobody is at the polling unit now.
I think Mero, we can. I think we've gotten what we want. Yes.
No female voters. Okay, Zachary. Thank you very much for that information.
Did he say no female
no
voters?
Female
How many have voted so far?
209.
Okay,
yes.
fine.
A community of over 1,000.
Okay, let Dr. Say just finish your explanation on who is responsible for.
So as I said, it's holistically, it's for everybody.
Yes, awareness
from the government institutions, the national orientation agencies, the media corporations, the televisions, the members of the civil society, parents at home. It's all our responsibility. Where we have the gap is, first of all, is that culture that we believe that we can't hold our leaders accountable. Is that culture that we believe that society and the leadership are separate, which build up over a period during the military era and all, where you don't get to ask questions. But things are now changing. So we want people to know that you have a responsibility to make sure that your wards know it's their responsibility to select their leader, and it's their responsibility to deny and make sure that he does what is right or she does what is right. And when all of us take this thing as our own, we're going to have it, because that will reduce the issue of the voter buying a lot, especially also if INEC increase the level of voter secrecy. If you don't know who I vote, you'll be scared to give me money. But if you know who I vote, you may be tempted to buy the vote. And there are higher ways we can do this. Now, yeah, you must show me your ballot paper sometimes before I pay you. You snap, you show me. But we have ways that you can vote without even the ballot paper. If you like, pay me, then I vote whoever I want. So it's at your loss.
That's another discussion for another day, Dr. Said Miros.
Okay, I just want to take
the announcement.
Yes. Kaduna State Media Corporation, Ksmc, will be bringing to you details of results of the gubernatorial and State House of Assembly elections live from the INEC headquarters, Kaduna. So we urge people to please stay tuned to KSMC. I see Marlon Zubero clapping for us.
Definitely has
What do you expect?
Well, I think really you are moving to I can even see the studio has been digitalized.
World class.
That is another discussion for another day.
Yes. And at least with this announcement, it means that you have gone further.
Yes,
you know.
Yes.
I don't want to use the politicians' word, but at least you have moved further.
We have,
and I've seen really so many changes.
Okay, Dr. Saidu, talking about the governorship elections, we hear some states will not be holding the governorship elections today. About 7 states, only 29 states out of the 36 states. Is there any way we can harmonize and hold these elections together once and for all across all these states?
Personal interest?
Let me add to Meru's question, because INEC said it promised that commencement of the election or the voting will start at the same time all over the country. Is that feasible?
Personally, I believe the more we diffuse, the even better we are.
Yes.
The convergence is what's making it monotonous and difficult and expensive.
I'll just cut you there. We have our correspondent from Giwa, Sahura Jibril Medoki, who is going to give us an update. Sahura, what's happening in Giwa?
Right now, the issue of, I've been reporting this morning, the issue of low turnout of voters. Right now, I'm with the district of Giwa, in person of Alhaji Abdulkarim Amini. He wants to say something about the low turnout of the electorate. Representatives, you are now with the Ksmc Radio. On the issue of low turnout of voters, what do you have to say?
What I say about out of voters is a sad moment, because some of the people who are coming to vote, they are far less for more than men. So the reason why they need time, because they are at home waiting to be there with their children and
Saura, are you there? Okay, I think we have network issues. Yes. Thank you so much, but I think we've gotten the crux of the matter.
Yes, low
turnout.
So from what you observed on the fields, Madam Musa Zuberu, can you say this cuts across all the other local government areas in this? I don't know how many local government areas.
Or are we experiencing some voter apathy here?
No, I think from the reports we are getting, I think there is.
What you saw on the field?
No, what I saw before I went for that program in the morning, I thought really people will troop out because I was of the opinion. What I observed in the morning when the voting started, seeing that electoral sensitive materials were at the polling units, and officials of INEC were there very early in the morning, and people started coming out, and the experience of the presidential election has been noticed and has been taken care of to the extent that the workers are now faster. The workers now are more conversant with the usage of the card reader, so things were moving fast. So I thought maybe people will start coming in and maybe going back to their houses immediately after the election. So I was of the opinion that at least with that experience, people will be coming out maybe in piecemeal and at the same time to make difference with what has been observed in the presidential election. But now from the reports we are getting from the field, because I've not gone back, I've just finished that program to come here. From the reports we are getting now from your correspondents and from the field, then I think really it's most unfortunate and really discouraging. And this maybe has to do with what Dr. Said has said, because you see, INEC has taken its responsibility to be only perennial. You know, that maybe it is when the elections are 2-3 months or so, then the enlightenment program will start. Other agencies of government will fold their arms. They are not collaborating with the agency, and the political parties will just sit down politicking, and they're not doing much expected of them. The candidates themselves are not really living up to the expectations of educating the voters. So you see, we have so many things that we really need to look at and contend with within the context of what is happening. So it appears that the popularity of the two candidates or the candidates at the presidential election might have been what really resulted even to getting the less than 50% of the voter turnout. And I believe this one we may have less than 30% from what we are seeing.
We because go to from analyzing
from when I was coming, I can tell you I have seen so many places the electoral officers have finished their work. They are just sitting, you know, waiting for 5 o'clock to open the boxes and then start collation.
Let me take this. If you want to be part of this conversation, you can join us on KSMC The Mandate on our YouTube account, Facebook account KSMC Kaduna The Mandate, and on Twitter account at KSMC World News.
And also, since a lot of security measures have been put in place to ensure peaceful, fair and credible elections, peace, we can say, is one of the utmost that it's really required for any election. We'll take our peace jingles, and when we return, we'll continue.
Peace is key to any development. Let us embrace the culture of togetherness. Be your brother's keeper for a greater Kaduna State and Nigeria.
Welcome back, and it's still the mandate coming to you on the services of KSMC, and we have in the house Madam Zuberu, Musa, our analyst, and Dr. Said Tafida, who have been here with us since the beginning of our build up to the elections.
Yes, and we started by discussing how the turnout of the elections this morning, how it is so far.
Yes, is it a matter of apathy?
Yes, some of our correspondents in the local governments have called in to say, like in Igabi, that Zakari reported a whole community, no female voter there.
And from Giwa, Sahura Medoki reported, and we even spoke with somebody who said there is a very low turnout at Giwa.
Yeah. Especially of women.
Especially women.
Yeah. Yes, Dr.
Said.
Yes. I really want to be careful in any analysis now.
Yes.
To be sincere, last 2 weeks election has a different condition from this. Yeah. They were electoral materials came late. People waited. When there are 20 people, you see crowd. When there is nobody waiting, you see nobody. We wait until we've collated the results, then we see. Even me, when I came, I really complained because I saw them waiting. But I don't think it's enough
because
for me
this
to
time
conclude.
It's the other way around.
Yes.
The presidential elections, it was people
who were waiting. Now it's easier for me. So it's easier for me to come and see 10 people and say there's a high turnout. But in reality, 1% at a time, 20 may come and go.
Yeah, come and go, yeah.
And I'm not sure those our reporters are actually holding a paper and keeping a tally. They're just seeing the people they see. And it's a different thing in its observation. So I really want us to be careful. Yes. From now to maybe when the result is collated, when we know actual people that came, lest somebody use our own referral here and said, we said there was a law, how did it come? So I want us to be. Now, to add to what I've started discussing on the issue of diffusing the elections in Nigeria. In reality, because all the elections were done on the same day, the INEC itself doesn't even have the staff capacity to do that. So they need billions of naira to hire ad hoc staff. They need billions of naira to make sure that those materials get there in time, in the same time, on the same day, using every other means. In fact, I know a lot of commercial airlines that were chartered just to make sure these things get. If these things were not on the same day, the resources could have been managed better. Now, this is making it very, very expensive. Now, keep it by one side. Just come in again and see how best can they achieve this result.
How can INEC achieve this feat?
One of the best ways they can do that is the disintegration of INEC itself, which has been a cry since when I was in primary school. I'm not doing understand this discussion today. I've been following this long. It's one of the reasons that led to the state independent. How independent are the state independent itself?
In fact,
should we shift it to them? No, there was a cry that no, if you shift it to the state, the governors will take control of it. All of this fear is because systematically we did not grow to hold our leaders accountable. If we hold our leaders accountable, the ward chairman or the chairman of my estate cannot rig the election in my estate. But because we are so lax, we don't hold anybody accountable. That's why we're so much afraid of, if it comes to the state, it will be rigged by the governor. So, okay, if the governor is rigging it, then what happens if the president is going to rig it? Now, if the president won't rig it, how can the governor rig it? All we need is to break this thing. Now, I don't want it to stop at the state. I want it to go to local government. Let local governments who have their own independent electoral commissions. If I am from a local government and I am a corrupt official, or I impose a wrong electorate, and since I'm from there, I'm from that community, they know me, they know my father, they know my mother. Do you think I have somewhere to hide? But what happened if Professor Yakubu, who is from Kano, from Bauchi, lecturing in Kano, who is based in Abuja, decided who will be the chairman in my local government? How can I hold him accountable? I'm just trying to say this thing can be done better. And one of the best way to do it is to disintegrate it. Let people be trusted more. If government want people to trust them, we have to learn to trust the people too.
What's your take?
Well, I think I share the same opinion with him. The fact of the matter is that the rule of law is not being strictly followed. Some of these mistakes that people do or commit, have their own consequences. And the law is not being brought to to those people that commit such offenses. You see, if you abuse any electoral sequence within the context, you are supposed to be punished for that. There is a law. There is something that is supposed to be done to you. But unfortunately,
I'll just cut it there, Malosbiru. We have the PRO INEC with us. PRO, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, madam. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Piero, can you just give us an update of the preparations of INEC, especially from the INEC office? What?
Yes, definitely. Everything is said and done so far, because we have deployed materials in the field, from the field. The fielders that are coming in, everything is going on fine and good, because right now that I'm speaking to you...
Yes, where are you speaking from? What part of Southern Kaduna?
I'm speaking to you from Southern Kaduna.
Yes.
Precisely, I'm not in Gango Kasa. After going to about 6 other local governments in the southern part of the state. And that is where we have been to so far, that we have encountered problems. We have been to almost 87 polling units from 6 local governments we have visited so far. And all
What of voters? How are the voters?
The turnout is slightly larger than the previous one because of the corrections and cleanliness made so far during the course of making out electoral materials to the local government.
And what of the INEC officials? How are they operating, especially the polling unit officers?
Like it was said, the output this time around by the local, by the INEC officials surpassed that of the presidential election because of the retraining and the retraining that is yesterday.
Thank you very much, Pierre INEC. We'll get back to the course of the program. Thank you. Yes. You're welcome.
So with the situation from Southern Kaduna by the NAPRO, there will also take our own situation report as compiled by our correspondents.
Malam Haruna Said was born in Kajuru town, a suburb town of Kaduna State, on the 2nd of February 1960, into the family of late Yunusa Said Kajuru. He had his basic education at LEA Primary School Kajuru and later proceeded to Katsina Teachers College, where he obtained his grade 2 certificate in 1977. He proceeded to Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, where he obtained a bachelor degree in accounting in 1983. He had his MSc in the same university and finished in 1987, where he specialized in accounting and finance, and is currently a PhD student in the same institution. Also, he is a certified professional accountant and holds several certificates to his honor both at home and abroad. Haruna Said has written many publications and is a member of different professional bodies. He has been a teacher at both primary and secondary school, as well as a university lecturer. He was a bank manager, a general manager at Investment House Kaduna, an accountant general of Kaduna State for 11 years, and a pioneer of Executive Secretary of Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NEITI. His political life started in 2006 when he contested for governor in the primaries of the People's Democratic Party, which he lost to Namadi Sambo. Haruna Said later joined the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, and in 2011 he fought and won CPC's ticket for that year's gubernatorial election in Kaduna State. Said was later defeated by Patrick Ibrahim Yakowa of PDP in one of the most keenly contested elections in the history of the state. Following the merger of CPC with some parties, which gave birth to the All Progressives Congress, APC, in 2014, he contested for the position of Governor of Kaduna State for the 2015 elections in the party's primaries, and eventually lost out to the incumbent governor Malam Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai. In 2018, he joined the Social Democratic Party, SDP, and is its flag bearer for the 2019 governorship election in Kaduna State.
Very much, Zainab. We have our correspondent from Kubo, Mohammed Sani Barau. Mohammed Sani. Good afternoon.
English, please.
Good afternoon.
We are fine.
I'm in Kubo right now in Anjou, the headquarters of Kubo government.
Okay.
And the election is going on smoothly without any trouble or something like that.
Okay, people are still voting?
Yes, they are still voting, but some polling units, people, the vote has almost come to the end. And people voted canceled their vote. And most of the people in the Kubo government came out and mass to vote for their own rights.
Okay, Sani Barao, we heard that in some local governments, some people were seen on their farms. Did you experience the same thing in Kubo?
Yes, really. I went to some parts of Kubo government like Gidangata, like Udini, and the rest of them. Most of people there, I saw so many people in farms.
But did they vote before leaving for their farms, or they did not care to vote?
Yes, but I asked some of the people there, they told me that they canceled their vote.
Before leaving for their farms.
The situation has now ended.
Okay.
So they wanted to go back to their farm and clear their
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So, and everything was done peacefully, no rancor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but I guess I have some reports from either way. Some polling units, there are some trouble there that lead to the sort of boxes. Yeah. But I went to INEC to confirm from them. One of the officials there told me that they didn't get any receipt on that issue.
So okay, when you try to get yes the INEX officers confirmation if something like that actually took place.
Yes,
All right.
I will get them for confirmation.
Okay, thank you so much, Muhammad Sani Barau.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That was
Yes.
Muhammad Sani Barau, our correspondent in Kubo local government area.
Okay, from Sani's report, let's look at rancor and misconduct during elections. What could be responsible for some of this violence, misconduct, and rancor we record during elections?
Mostly,
Dr. Said.
Mostly what causes it is lack of understanding on why you are even vying for an office. That's how I see it. Second, illiteracy among the people that are being used in the activity. Third, the high level of poverty that is in existence. Now, when you have all these three, it's like having an ingredients for a bomb of a soup that with a little thing it will explode. One, you want to be in power at all cost. Even though you're lying and claiming that you want to come and represent people, now the people say they don't want you to come, you do everything to punish them. That is very, very wrong. Two, you that is being used to create the mayhem, you think you're educated enough and you're there and somebody is playing you, using you to cause harm and pain on someone for something really,
Sorry,
which is also
cut you
wrong.
here because we have our correspondent from Jama'a.
It's all right.
Shehu Dada.
Okay.
Hello, Shehu. Good afternoon. How is the conduct of the elections in Jama'a? We just had the INEC PRO that said that he was precisely in Zambon Katab, and he said that the conduct of the election was peaceful and there was a large turnout of voters. Can you say the same thing for Jama'a?
Exactly. In Jama'a is peaceful and large turnout of people. And I can say in some of the polling units, the election is almost over because this time around the INEC has delivered the election materials on time.
Good.
In most of the polling units, the voting started as early as 8.
Good.
So that enhanced people to vote on time and go.
Okay. So they're just waiting for the collation of the results now.
Yeah, in some polling units now you can only see the officials waiting whether some people who are coming late will come and do their voting.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shehu Dada. When you have any more information, we'll get
But
you.
yes, we'll continue with our.
Okay, with the time at almost 21 minutes to 4 to 3.
Yeah, but I would want Dr. Said to
continue.
continue.
Just
with
to
that.
round up, first we said
Talking
the
about
issue
rancor
of
violence and
then
misconduct.
desperation, illiteracy, but there's the third party. In reality, they are not really illiterates, but they are really in need of that thing that politician is given.
Give them.
For that, they will still fake. And when you take something, you become compromised. Before you realize, you become a puppet that is being used. Even if something is wrong, you can't talk about it. Now, if we can get a way to solve all these things, reduce this level, giving people a certain degree of independence without depending on such petty things, so such things will gradually vanish without you even taking any conscious action to say, okay, I want to make sure I take all of them to prison. Because even it's at a cost.
Yes.
Because I arrest you and take you to prison, I still have to feed you and give you a place to stay, and which is a cost to Nigeria.
Before we go, before we take our break, let's just hear your own take on this violence, misconduct, rancor during elections.
Well, I think as he said, what I need to add is because the regulatory body for the elections, that is INEC, is sometimes like a toothless bulldog, because like the NBC you have here, that anytime a radio station misfired or do anything, they will come there to either sanction the. So you see, the independent National Electoral Commission is not doing that to the political parties. So political party will create anything it feels like. You understand? They will go out of their mandate. I think the work of INEC should be to start looking or monitoring the activities of these parties based on what they promise to do on their papers. You see, some of these things are really due to the ineptness of the electoral umpire. So if really INEC will now be monitoring these political parties, watch their utterances, watch their activities, sanction them as and at when due, then I can tell you some of these things will stop. Sometimes they can even suspend a political party, deregister the political party, and sometimes even send them to the courts for conviction. So if we do that, I can tell you some of these things will reduce. But where you have a political party will just feel that because I have registered from INEC, then I can do whatever I feel like doing. You can disrupt law and order. You can do anything, abuse the laws of the land, and you go scotch-free. Then I can tell you will never go anywhere. Other countries of the world that develop, I can tell you, is because they have respect for their rules of law. And at the same time here, you find that if really the electoral law said that people should not give money, people should not canvass with money, people should not do that. We expect that the electoral empire supported by our covert security agencies now do something. But yeah, we don't do it. You know, so we don't do it. So not until we start doing this, I can tell you we'll continue to have these problems added to the ones Dr. Saidu has said, like the lack of education, desperation of the political party
many
candidates.
problems.
So many problems, especially this desperation of the aspirants.
The program is still the mandate on KSMC Radio Kaduna. My name is Mero Tahir, and together with Hadiza Bayro, we have our guests in the studio analyzing today's election. That's the gubernatorial and state house of assembly election going on now in Kaduna. You can join us on YouTube, KSMC The Mandate, or our Facebook page, KSMC Kaduna The Mandate, or at our Twitter handle at KSMC World News. You can join us to join in this discussion. And we'll take our peace jingle, and when we come back, I shall take you up there, Malam Musa, on some of the issues.
The Kaduna State Peace Commission calls on all stakeholders to imbibe peaceful conduct as the only way to carry out electoral campaigns during the forthcoming general elections, to vote peacefully on election days, to celebrate victories in a peaceful manner, and channel all complaints using peaceful and legal means. Let the love for peace replace the love for power. This message is from Kaduna State Peace Commission.
We need peace, and yes,
we do need peace.
We need peace.
We really do.
Yes, and we preach peace.
Yes.
That's why we're calling on everybody.
But if you realize peace we have. We already have the peace.
We already.
Yes, we're just working more on the peace.
On the peace.
Yes, to sustain it.
Okay, back to Malam Musa. You were talking about INEC's responsibility. Maybe calling like they are not actually doing enough. That is why. But like Dr. Saidu said, this voter education or the whole responsibility of the electoral process is not just about one body or one individual. All stakeholders.
No, you see, in issues of public interest or governance, you understand, there are so many hands that must have to come to play in the discharge of that.
Yeah.
You don't expect INEC really to do
Alone.
the work of NOAA. You see, we expect NOAA, for example, National Orientation Agency, to do a lot of things from beginning to the end, 366 days or 65 days to do that, 24 hours in a day to keep educating people. And at the same time, INEC should be in collaboration with other agencies of government, including even the security agencies, so that they know the people that are doing certain things that are against the law of the land, people that are disgracing the country. You see, one thing Nigerians don't understand is that if we have our elections well, I can tell you other countries of the world would like to associate with us, because you see our exchange of ideas, exchange of technology, and other assistance and collaboration we'll get from other countries. But if your elections don't go well, they will think that this country is undemocratic. This country is a bully country. You understand? So things like that, when they come, you will find that no country would like to join hands with you for your own development. These development partners will not come to Nigeria because you are not practicing democracy. I think one of the yardsticks for all these countries to development partners to come to a country is that they have a stable system of government. The government is open, is transparent, is accountable. So when you have a government that is not open, that is not transparent, that is not accountable, then I can tell you nobody would like to join you, nobody would like to associate with you. So when we look at some of these things, and then you have an umpire, you have a regulatory body that is not living up to the challenges of its responsibilities, that is trying to play the good boy to everybody in the country, then we have a problem. So respect for the rule of law that is why the emblem of even justice is a blind, beautiful woman. Her eyes is closed, so she doesn't see anybody, and she has what it takes to enforce the law. Yes. You understand? Yes. So when we look at that, I think the people that have done that didn't do it in lack of knowledge of what it's supposed to be. So when you look at some of these things, you know that really we need to do much more. And the INEC should stop being the good boy to everybody. INEC must stand up to its responsibilities, dust the laws they have, know what they should do to political parties that are not living up to expectations. I'm happy the INEC chairman said that any politician or any candidate that kidnap or abduct or coerce or cajole any right to announce it should not be given the return. So I think that is very, very good. And I think this will now put even their supporters to their senses to understand that really that we have rules, we have laws that we will follow. The election doesn't favor you. You have some grievances. There is a way you can really exhibit them.
We'll get back to Dr. Said. The governorship election is taking place today. Imo State has the highest number of governorship candidates with 68, while Delta and Yobe states have the least number with 2 candidates in Yobe and Delta states. Kaduna State has 38. Now talking about this credibility issue, and then some people that are even contesting, most of the electorate do not even know them. What can you say about it?
Let me add to your previous question. That's double barrel. And do you think this is good for democracy?
To be sincere, even her answer is to be answered with your question. Because in reality, coming back to the first point we were trying to prove, if the leadership or the position you're contesting is to represent people, you certainly have an idea you want to implement. That idea may be better economics, better education, better health. This is how I intend to do it. The other party too is likely implementing the same thing. Why should it be that I must be the one that will do it? Parties and political parties are supposed to collaborate, put together, put strength and might together to achieve a result. Winning an election is not easy. That's one. Conducting or ruling a state is neither also easy. You need all the intellect within your resources to work and man human resources and harness the little resources you have and achieve a maximum result. This call for collaboration. This call for working together. Now what we have here is we see the election as a means of me being employed as a governor. So I have to be the one that will become the governor. For that, even if the other person have my idea, we don't work together, we don't share, we don't do good. Now if all of us are going to work together and create a system, we're even going to have a less confusing voter system where you have a ballot paper with 35 like presidential with 74 different parties to vote. And funny is there's A, there's AA, there's AAC, there's AA. Come on, which A am I looking for? So if I don't even know the symbol, and the symbols even look alike, so this is confusing. This is not even helping. Somebody may end up voting for a wrong party for not even doing what is right. I don't think this is healthy for any democracy.
Okay,
now at this point, political parties
Said, I'll
have
just
to work
break you
together.
a bit, and we'll just take a report on social media. And of course, like we keep saying, we need the peace and a peace jingle.
Social media platforms are important tools for political communication and campaigns to secure victory and encourage interactions between political candidates and voters. Faced with a sharp party membership and a more demanding, assertive, and distrustful public, willingness to intervene directly in the political parties and politicians have been forced to embrace new online tools as part of their campaign. It is estimated that 50 million Nigerians use the social media, making them an attractive pool of prospective supporters to draw from. In Nigeria, content from social media is getting dirty on a daily basis, as Nigerians wake up to different posts and tweets of political, religious, and ethnic-induced propaganda. Political parties, their candidates, and supporters have taken to the use of the different social media platforms to give credit to themselves while discrediting the opposition with information that is mostly misleading, incitive, capable of causing chaos and disunity with a hate speech embedded in it. Mindful of the harm such misinformation can have on the elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission has come out to warn the public to disregard any results not declared by it. Online media, like any other profession, have also been subjected to abuses arising from practices that run foul of professional ethics. In an attempt to draw patronage, such media sometimes broadcast half-truths, misleading and concocted stories that could harm instead of shaping the nation's democracy. Despite the elaborate provision of the Electoral Act on the issue of reporting and evaluating electoral processes, this negative online media culture has been heating up the polity and not helpful at this time of elections. Access to information is crucial to sustaining democracy. A review of the role of mass media since 1999 underscores the need for media practitioners to be prepared to play a supportive role before, during, and after elections for the survival of democracy.
That's a report on social media, and now we're going to look at the effects of social media, positive, negative, on these elections.
And Hadiza, especially as we were talking about voter education,
yes,
and how social media has helped to determine who you vote for, especially with
your
your
bidding. Yes,
yeah.
The social media is celebrated all around the world. To be sincere, with all apologies to this means that we are using, is decentralize the media system. It has given so many people so much power to voice, which we call social democratic theory. It's a theory in itself where everybody have the right to report. Now, this can be good and bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, it is the same thing that is used to send the hatred messages that are causing chaos. Now, that same channel and medium can also be used to achieve greatness that is beyond anything you can imagine. One of the major problems we have here, let's even pick it and dissect it, the issue of how can INEC reach more people and educate them. I think this is one of the best systems that can be used. Nigeria as a government has joined what we call the Open Government Partnership. Nigeria as a government has agreed that there's going to be intergovernmental agencies communication. Now, those things, all you need is to open your process, and there's no cheaper and easier way of opening your process than social media. You don't need to print anything. All you need is to come out and say, we want to educate people in Zangon Kataf. We don't have how to get to them. Trust me, you find somebody who said, please, let me do it for you. He'll be glad to add it to his name that I am helping INEC to educate people in so place. All you need is to open and say, okay, we think we are having knowledge shortage here. Then the government agency will even just change themselves to just basic monitor evaluation agencies. You just evaluate when you have shortages, you call for help, and people will help you. Social media will help that. I like what INEC are doing. Like now, yesterday they sent a text message to my phone telling me that I should know I'm supposed to go out and vote. This is an improvement. We never had that before. So this is going good. Now everything is on Twitter, everything is on Facebook. All that is left is for them to go a step forward and open more now in the processes. Now this is a final product. Is they're feeding you on what you need to do. All you need to do is to open process, and after the open process, then definitely we're going to get what we need to do.
Okay.
Thank you so very much.
Let's just acknowledge our reporters, Albert Solomon, who sent in the social media report. And that's just about the size
we'll just round up briefly, 1 minute.
What are your expectations?
Yes.
Well, my expectation is that we have voter turnout more than what we saw in the presidential election, because the reports that I heard from Southern Kaduna showed that the voter turnout is really impressive. And as Said rightly said, we cannot run to conclusions now until after the elections. And the way people are trooping out really is interesting, because where I voted in the morning, there was about 198 people that voted before me. So it means that you don't see any crowd there. Yeah. So I think really that we expect, and at the same time we expect whoever the loser is at the end of it, or the winner, now people to be magnanimous in victory and then to be magnanimous in defeat. So that
Dr. Saidu.
Yes, it's not much from what he said. Who will win, and the elections are done. What is left is for us to embrace whoever become a winner, but that's not the end of it. We also need to know that after somebody has won an election, it's not the end of it. What is important now is for you to hold him accountable for the next 4 years, for him to meet up to everything he promised you, for him to make sure that he's accountable for every money he spent in your name, for you to make sure that, look, anything he spent, he has explained to you. We should learn to know how budgets are formed, how the budget are expended, how contracts are formed, how they are expended, and who to hold accountable. And these people has to be held accountable.
Tracking them.
Tracking them to the end of it.
On behalf of the mandate this
afternoon. And let's remind our listeners that Kaduna State Media Corporation KSMC will bring to you details of results of the gubernatorial and State House of Assembly elections live from the INEC headquarters, Kaduna. So we expect and we urge our listeners to stay tuned to KSMC.
In the last 1 hour, we've been discussing electoral issues as they affect the governorship and State House of Assembly elections here in Kaduna, and of course electoral issues. And our guests have been Malam Zubairu Musa, current affairs analyst, and of course Dr. Said Tafida, also a public analyst. And that's about the size of the program at this moment, and our next anchors are just standing by for the continuation of the program. Good afternoon and have a wonderful listening time ahead.
That was the program, The Mandate, on the general services of KSMC Radio. You are now onto the service of AM Radio Kaduna, Nigeria. The time now is 1 minute to the hour of 3. We are now switched back to the Hausa segment.
Babban gine na Sardauna, zamani na tura